Every time that I had a huge little win, for some reason, I just didn't have anybody close to me to share it with, to celebrate it with. And I call them huge little wins because on the outside, the appearance doesn't look like a big accomplishment. But energetically, everything that I worked through, everything that I had to let go of in order for that huge little win to be effortless, because I value my freedom above anything within the world of the matrix that you would seem it's enticing to the ego. It's not for me. For me, it's the freedom to be me, the freedom to think, to feel the way I want, to express the way I want. So when I let go of the programs and the thoughts that enslaves you to that system, for me, that's a huge little win. So those little successes for me, they're they're everything. So I saw a pattern within me that every time I had those successes, little successes, there was no one. There was no one there. And I started to see, like, why am I creating no one to be there for me so I could celebrate it? Um, if it was family, they wouldn't understand because it's mostly energy work. So I would just lose them, or that's what I believe. The same goes with friends, and the ones that do understand, it just happens to synchronistically not aligned. It would never happen. So yesterday I was like, no, no. I want to have someone that I can share this huge little wins with. And I opened up to someone, of course, because it was all held within for so long. Once you open up, it just comes out very, very distorted. So the way I opened up came out in such a way that, because of their sensitivity to energy and their own alignment, they immediately felt how I was projecting onto them. So, of course, they're going to honor their alignment before anything else. And what they did was they just came straight forward. They cut me off of my painful expression. And they told me, you really need to learn how to communicate without projecting. They hung up and they left me with all the pain that I had opened up for myself to process on my own. And I was left even with more intensity because now I'm in rage. Now I'm mad. Now I'm angry that they didn't allow my program to feed on their energy. They were very, very wise to not let my unconscious program feed and project guilt, basically. I was very, very subtly within my own expression of being hurt that they were never there for me to celebrate it. There was this subtle level of guilt, of somehow projecting it's their fault, they're never there, and they felt it coming. That's why they cut me off immediately. And even though at the moment was very, very painful to not allow my expression to come through the way I thought I needed it, it was actually the best thing they could have done for me, because they left me face to face with the program, nowhere to channel it to, nowhere to go but for me to see it and dissolve it. So they starved my program by not being a part of it, by not feeding it, by not letting me have my little guilt projection and them not taking on it, right? They didn't take it on. And that's what we do a lot with people, thinking that's compassion, thinking that's love, thinking that somehow that's the best thing. And you take on that energy. So you have another program that says it's okay, pour them, I'll take it for you. So it's an unconscious thing going on. So we're basically feeding the program, letting the program stay alive, basically. So, in a sense, it's a disservice we're doing to others when we allow the program to feed on our energy. So, when I personally notice this, that other people are unconsciously doing it and they come to me trying to grasp from my energy, that's the best thing you can do is just cut them off. Sometimes you can't even say anything because they wouldn't understand it. But if they have a certain level um, of understanding, right, you can give them something for them to work through. Even though when we are blind, when the program takes over, it's really, really hard to process the truth at that moment. So the best thing is actually for us to see it on our own, even though I have a lot of practice with ego programs and ego masks. They were able to tell me, and I knew it was true, even though it was painful, and even though the demon program inside me were burning in hell, basically, because they couldn't feed, and I saw them starve to death until it disappeared and the pain was gone, the need to project was gone. It was like nothing happened, and I'm like, oh my god, that was so effective. So that's just an example of another real-time mirror integration process, right? But it does take another conscious being sensitive to their own truth and alignment to not indulge in other people's programs, needing to grasp from their energy, needing to feed from it. So all of these things is what we discuss and we work through in Reflectorium. So if you're done with the ego in that sense, running the show, running your life, you can jump on a call with me so I can explain to you even more deep details about the things we do and how we move through the energy, because it's mostly energy healing that's taking place and on a very, very deep level. But we are working on the level of the mind as well with the programs and on an emotional level too. So what appeared to be in a surface level, my wins, my success, there was a program underneath it. And I'm glad it's dissolved. That was the reason, that pain was the reason I was blocking myself from having someone to actually share my wins. Even though that was the thing that I was not getting, it was the exact block to having someone that it aligned with my gains, with my happiness of I I accomplished this. This happened to me. So it's paradoxical because you would feel it's something on the outside that you need to change. They need to change. They need to be there for me. When the reason they're not there for you, the reason they're not there for me is because of all that pain that I was holding within that I didn't know about, of course. But that was the block to getting exactly what I wanted. And now that the block is not there, that the program is not there, I even feel so light and so free that I really don't care if there's someone there for me to celebrate my huge little wins anymore. And that's exactly when things come, when you don't need them anymore, because need comes from lack. It's the opposite vibration of having the thing.